Right then, hello everyone and welcome back to the Assetto Corsa Offline Championship. We are here for round number 8 of the 2021 Formula 1 World Championship as we head here to the Hockenheimring for the German Grand Prix. Yes, Formula 1 finally approaches the midpoint of the season. After this, we will only have 7 rounds to go in the championship, so we are properly in the mid-season now, and it is truly getting close as well, as we're now in the middle of the season. We're here for 12 minutes of the first stage of qualifying here at the Hockenheimring. Laban Zasnicka is your first man out, the man who we currently are on board with, just starting his lap of the circuit. Speaking about the circuit, as always, it is time to go through the track. So, the Hockenheimring, officially known as the Hockenheimring Baden-Württemberg, named after the region in which it is located in, obviously in the city of Hockenheim, then in the province of Baden-Württemberg in Germany. The track was opened in May of 1932, 91 years ago now, and was originally called the Dreieckskurs, meaning triangle course in German. And it was a whole 12 kilometers long. And the track architect was a man named Ernst Christ, a timekeeper who thought that it would be very nice to have a racing track in his hometown of Hockenheim. It was shortened in the following years and went out of use during World War II. But after that, in the 1950s, you'd have Grand Prix motorcycle racing. Here, the German Motorcycle Grand Prix would run here for the first time in 1957 and ran all the way up until 1994. Then in the 1970s, you had the first ever Formula 1 Grand Prix around the bends of Hockenheim. And it ran all the way up until 2019 with a redesign in 2002 by Hermann Tilke, which is the current layout of this track. Today it's 4.574 kilometers long and features 15 turns with a race lap record of 1:13.7, but that was all the way back in 2004. And yeah, this is a very, very interesting track. As I did say, it's seen a lot of revisions and a lot of updates over the years. Obviously, I guess you could count this as a Tilke track as well. But it wasn't obviously originally designed by Hermann Tilke. It was only given a few brush-ups by the German architect. But yeah, this track, very, very old school in terms of how the corners are penciled in, obviously. It's a quite tight track. It's got a lot of slow speed, a lot of high-speed corners as well. Not a lot of runoff at this track either. Not a lot of elevation either, considering it's situated just between the Rhine Valley, so it's a very, very flat track. But yeah, it is a very interesting one indeed. I have to say, we've always seen good racing around here ever since the first time we came here back in 2018 in Formula 1. Back then it was Dennis Graf driving for Ferrari who took the race win around here in his home race. As we're now getting underway with qualifying, the times are pouring in on the board. Alfred Klaus is your fastest man, followed by Jesper Johansson and then Wojtek Kulasek in third. There's Josef Frederik Schuto to be the final man across the line. And your bottom 5 at the moment is Victor Albom, Luca Farina, Daniel Wale, Fernando Tost and Daniel Fraser. So good stuff from Victor Albom, I have to say. In P16 at the moment, that is not bad considering where he usually is. But yeah, for this man, Fernando Tost, this is not the first lap that he would have been hoping for. But let's see if he's going to be able to make a change to this then. So he rounds the final corner and he's going to go across the line. Only goes up one position and ahead of Daniel Wale though. Aston Martin, who have had struggles with consistency in these past few races. They've always had someone going out in Q1 or Q2, whether that's Kai Chereznia or Fernando Tost. They seem to have just been struggling to attain consistently good results and good pace One man, though, who absolutely has not been struggling this season, Alex Broster, who has been brilliant in that Williams in his first full-time season in Formula 1. He has done incredibly in that Williams, outscoring teammate Alexander Arnold. Currently sits on 11 points in the championship. And yeah, he is doing absolutely incredibly in that Williams. Dennis Graf, who's in 9th, sets an improvement. What about Daniel Wale? Can he improve across the line? Yes, he does. But unfortunately for the Chinese man, he stays in P19. Now the question is then if the likes of Fernando Tost, Luca Farina, or even Victor Albom could get an improvement here and try and get themselves out of the bottom 5. Speaking of Tost, he just set an improvement. He gets himself out of Luca Farina with yet another improvement, but he's still in that elimination zone, and it is looking very dire for Aston Martin at the moment. Should any one of these guys improve, that will knock Kai Chereshnia, the other Aston Martin, into the elimination zone, and it's just dreadful for Aston Martin. They are not looking good here in Q1 at all, considering both of their drivers are P15 and P17. It is a bit of an ominous message for Aston Martin, but Kai Chereshnia tries to do his best to improve on that, and he goes up into P14. Victor Albom across the line does improve. However, the Dane will stay in P16 in what has been a very, very uncompetitive season for Haas. Not able to make it out of Q1 on any single occasion this season. They'll obviously be looking to change that, as Daniel Wale now goes up into P16, almost gets himself out of the bottom 5, but isn't able to do so just as Fernando Tost comes into the pit lane. And that is quite a shocker for Fernando Tost, and the question will be if he is going to be able to go out once again as Alexander Arnold goes across the line. Up into P12 goes Arnold. Good stuff from the man in his home race as well here. Now then, looking at Kai Chereshnia making his way around the Sachskurve, and then through turns 13, 14, and then 15. Chereshnia, though, comes into the pit lane as he currently is in 14th place. Not the driver at risk at the moment, that is Thomas Mandic. As Victor Albom is now going to go across the line, improves once again, and he is only 2 thousandths short of getting himself ahead of Daniel Wale with that lap time. So, yeah, Victor Albom, you have to give it to him today. He's looking good on pace, but that Haas certainly is a difficult bit of machinery. As Daniel Wale improves again and up into P13, he now goes. Great lap from Daniel Wale. That's going to get 1 Alfa Romeo into Q2 provisionally. So we just see Jesper Johansson, and he went fastest here in quali. He goes ahead of Alfred Klaus to claim the fastest time as Will Parrish up into P6. Great lap from the American, the 1:16.252. He'll be very happy about that one, as Ennis Parachki now is in 9th. Didn't have the greatest of races yesterday, or not yesterday, sorry, a few weeks ago at the Hungaroring. Lost a lot of good ground to his teammate Jesper Johansson, who now sits equal at the top of the championship with him. Victor Albom improves once again, however he stays in 17th. And now Thomas Mandic in the Ferrari could be at risk of going out once again. And Mandic, obviously the news broke out as Franco Gamba goes up into 3rd. Great lap from Gamba in the Alpine. But obviously the news about Thomas Mandic broke out that his position at Ferrari is under review. So the pressure piles on for him, and it does even more as Luca Farina, the man who Mandic replaced the Ferrari, now goes up into P10. Great lap from Farina, and at the moment both Alfa Romeos are through into Q2. And a few of these guys are in the pit lane. If they don't come out now, they most likely won't have the time to start one final flying lap Enis Parachki now goes up into P5. Alex Broster improves. Up into 12th goes the Brit. Wojtek Kulasek, that's an improvement as well. So we have about a minute on the clock. And that won't be enough for any of these guys to start any new laps. So everyone in the pits at the moment will not be improving on their lap times. So Thomas Mandic goes across the line, pushes Daniel Wale down into the elimination zone, and gets himself out of Q2 just barely. Question is then, is that lap time gonna be enough for Thomas Mandic? If anyone else here improves and gets themselves out of the bottom 5, then Mandic is out of Q2 here. Fernando Tost then on his flying lap here. He needs to get this one right so that Aston Martin will be able to get at least one car into Q2 as he now rounds turn number 10 down the straight. He goes into Mobile 1, the right-hander of turn number 11. And now into sector 3 then through Zax as the checker flag now falls. We're going to see the first man across the line. Wojtek Kulasek improves. Laban Zasniczka goes across the line, doesn't improve either. What about Fernando Tost then as he's just about to finish up the lap? DRS engaged and across the line for Fernando Tost, and he improves and gets his Aston Martin into second place with a 1:16.312, and that now puts Thomas Mandic into the bottom 5. Kai Sherezhnia now, considering one Aston Martin's made it to Q2, he's going to want to get both of those cars into the second stage of qualifying as well. Can he do it then across the line? Yes, he can! And that's going to be both Aston Martins into Q2 here. So now Eric Adelberg is knocked out here in Q1. And a bastion of hope then for Aston Martin here at Hockenheim, as they have now gotten both of their cars in the dying stage of Q1 onto the next stage. Alfred Klaus across the line goes fastest. What about his teammate Dennis Groff down in 13th? Also goes fastest. Red Bull 1-2 at the moment here in Q1. Wojtek Kulasek coming into the pit lane, and Laban Zasniczka should be the second to last man coming across the line, I believe, or should be the final man, I do think. Doesn't improve either. Wojtek Kulasek comes into the pits, and I don't think there's anyone else who's going to go across the line. No, there isn't, and that is Q1 done and dusted. Then Dennis Groff is your fastest man, and you're knocked out are Eric Alderberg, Thomas Mandic, Daniel Wale, Victor Albom, and Daniel Fraser. And that is Q1 over with then. Big talking point is going to be Thomas Mandic eliminating Q1 again. It's yet another Q1 exit for Thomas Mandic this season, and safe to say it is looking dire for Mandic at the moment. Sorry about that, but yeah, interesting to see Mandic go out then. It's been so on and off in qualifying this season, and obviously it is evident that he has been struggling a lot. But Aston Martin as well will be the big talking point there. It looked so dire for them throughout the entirety of the session, and then just at the end, you had Tost and Chereshnia being able to squeeze out a lap there to get themselves into Q2. So great stuff for Aston Martin. They have been able to get a lifeline here in qualifying, and if they carry on this pace, we'll see if there could be any saving grace for them here at Hockenheim. But yeah, Mandic is going to be the big talking point of this one, considering that he did struggle quite a lot. And Eric Alderberg as well, I don't think will be very happy about that Q1 exit either, considering he was in the pit lane. We're here for Q2 now, though. Second stage of qualifying about to get underway. 10 minutes on the clock, ticking down. Will Parrish, Formula 2 champion, now Formula 1 driver with AlphaTauri, first man out on track. A very, very interesting career this young man has had. Started all the way back in Formula E back in 2017, for those who have been around long enough to remember that. Took his first ever race victory as well in Formula E in only the second round, and finished 10th in the championship on 33 points. He also made a guest appearance in Formula 2 at the final round of the 2017 Formula 2 season at Abu Dhabi for Rapax. He replaced Laban Zasnishkai at Rapax, a man who he now shares the Formula 1 field with today. And then in 2018, obviously, he made his switch to IndyCar, where he once again picked up yet another race victory and finished a much stronger 8th in the championship, which would earn him a promotion into Formula 2. And obviously, he had a very, very strong season and pulled off possibly one of the best comeback drives that you've seen, as Will Parrish here gets held up by the Mercedes there. And that is severely going to impact Will Parrish's time. As I do think that is that is Enis Parachki, who he's been held up with, and Parachki was on the brakes there, and Parrish had to stomp on the brakes as well, as he's now going wheel to wheel with Enis Parachki here. He's on his outlap. So yeah, Parrish will not be too happy about being impeded here in qualifying. So yeah, he's not going to be happy about that at all as he's continuing this battle. But yeah, Parrish, who clinched the Formula 2 title in 2019 in the most unexpected of all ways, was 13th in the championship at round number 9 in Monza, and then in round 11 he'd go on to win the championship, being one of the underdogs in the title. He had 9 drivers going into that, and he was, I believe, the furthest away from scoring that. So Parrish pulled off an incredible comeback drive then that day, but unfortunately he was all out of luck and couldn't find himself in Formula 1 for the following season. Spent a year in Super Formula, and now finally makes his debut with AlphaTauri. And you can see then on that lap, Parrish was held up quite a bit then on his opening lap. We also Frederick Schuto with a 1:16.634, has done very well for himself. Jesper Johansson smashes that lap time at 1:16.345 as he goes across the line. Dennis Graf has not had a very good lap. It's a 1:19.282. I believe Graf must have been held up on his lap as well, just like Parrish was. So yeah, don't think that's a good representative first time for Dennis Graf, as he's going to want to go again and try and improve and get himself up there with the likes of Jesper Johansson and Josef Fredrik Schuto. As he now heads into turn number 11, there's Lewis McIntyre across the line. The Brit slots in behind his teammate in third. There's Enis Parachki across the line. Third it is for the Macedonian. Can't get himself up there with his teammate Johansson. Graf's going to go across the line. Cleaner lap time for Dennis Graf this time, and he immediately goes up into second. Great stuff from Dennis Graf. Franco Gamba across the line. Kaicha Rezhnia in 8th. And then Fernando Toste in 9th. So it's looking a bit better for Aston Martin here in Q2 right off the bat. So we're just waiting for the final man across the line, and that is Alexander Arnold, who slots into P15, taking the slowest time in the session so far. Laban Zasnishka in 7th then, and your bottom 5 currently is Will Parrish, Wojtek Kulasek, Alex Broster, Luca Farina, and Alexander Arnold. Yeah, Zasnishka once again currently in 7th and in the top 10 with no issues whatsoever. We know he's a great qualifier on his day, and 2 Aston Martins as well, just trailing in the top 10, with Tost currently the driver at risk in 10th, and then Cherezhnia a bit more safer in 9th. And you've just got Will Parrish and Wojtek Kulasek tethering on the edge to get out of the elimination zone. The question will be then if any of these guys will improve, considering their pace in Q1, especially Kulasek, Parrish, and Brosser, and Luca Farina as well. Speaking of Farina, he goes up into P11. Good improvement, but it's not enough to get the Alfa Romeo into the top 10 and potentially into Q3, as Franco Gamba goes across the line and the Italian driver up into P6. He will go for Alpine. Alexander Arnold manages an improvement. The German, though, stays where he is in 15th and last. And the Williams look a bit more off the pace than what they were in Q1. As a few more teams in the midfield, or the higher part of the midfield, seem to have picked up the pace. So we look at Will Parrish then rounding turn 11, now into turn number 12. Now through the 13 and 14 chicane and into the last two corners. Is Parrish going to finish up the lap? No, he's not. He's coming into the pit lane. What about Luca Farina in the Alfa Romeo, who also comes into the pit lane? So does Alfred Klaus. Franco Gamba follows suit as well. Josef Fredrik Schuto doesn't. He is going to start his flying lap. The Hockenheim circuit then, as he rounds the first corner, then the Nordkurve, as it is called, flat right-hander in these cars. Tries to use as much space as possible as you head into the first proper braking zone of turn number 2. The right-hander, as you immediately have to set your car up for turns 3 and 4, and now you make your way down this little kink, turn 5, the Parabolica as it is called, as you now have the DRS to your aid, as you make your way down into probably the best overtaking spot on the track, the turn 6 hairpin. It's a very, very sharp right-hander as you try and get the best exit possible to make your way through the flat right-hander of turn number 7 into the braking zone of turn 8, Mercedes as it is called, due to the Mercedes-Benz grandstand that is here, through the turns 9 and 10 chicane, down this little straightaway, then into the fastest corner on the track, turn 11, Mobile 1. Well, not the fastest corner, but you do have to slightly downshift through there into the Sachskurve. So easy to mess up at this corner. It has a bit of inclination as well, so you make your way to turn 13 and 14. Then through the second to last corner and through the Südkurve, this turn 16, the last corner on the track, as you make your way across the line. And unfortunately for Josef Fredrik Schuto, it is no improvement, but that is a lap of the Hockenheim ring. It's a 1:16.507 at the moment for Josef Fredrik Schuto. He is about 100th off Dennis Graf at the moment. So Schuto looking good on pace at the moment. And he really has been enjoying himself this season, obviously. Struggling with Williams in all these seasons. He's finally been able to get the taste of good machinery. And look how he has done as well. First ever race winner for McLaren. Only about 2 races ago, obviously, at Silverstone. So Schuto has been having an absolutely brilliant season so far with McLaren. So we now look at Wojtek Kulasek. Heading through turn number 10 and down into 11 he will go. Currently in the elimination, so we've not had a lot of improvements by the guys in the bottom 5. We'll see though if that's going to change as the timer is about to tick down to 0. Broster and Arnold in the pit lane, so both Williams cars confirmed out here in quali. The checker flag is now out then. Kulasek comes into the pit lane. What about Kai Cherezhnia in 9th? Can he get himself into Q3 as he's about to go across the line? And he does so. He stays at the moment in Q3 and in 9th, getting an improvement and extending his advantage. What about his teammate Fernando Tos? Can he lift himself up a few more positions? Aston Martin could have a double Q3 appearance here today if things go their way. Obviously, that is unless Farina or Parish improve into the top 10, then then at least one of them will not make it into Q3. Dennis Groff, next man across the line. Home hero rounds the final corner and makes his way across the line. Doesn't improve. What about Will Parish? Can he get himself into Q3? No. Parish stays in 12th. Josef Fredrik Schutter goes across the line. What about Luca Farina? He improves, but it's P11. And that is both Farina and Parish knocked out. Aston Martin are going to get both cars in Q3 here. What looked like desperation for them in Q1 has just turned into success here in Q2, as I don't know if it is the first time they get both their cars into Q3. Either way, it is a very, very good result in qualifying for the team from Silverstone. And that is Q2 done and dusted. Jesper Johansson is fastest, and your bottom 5 are Luca Farina, Will Parish, Wojtek Kulasek, Alex Broster, and Alexander Arnold. And now then, we make our way on to Q3. Great stuff from Aston Martin in qualifying. I think they'll be very, very happy about qualifying like that as well, considering they've had quite a dry run of performances in these last 3 races. This could be the turning point for them if things go well in qualifying and the race. I think one man, though, who will be disappointed today about qualifying is Wojtek Kulasek. P13 and being knocked out in Q2 when your teammate Franco Gambas made it all the way until Q3 is a bit disappointing for Kulasek. He would have probably hoped to be up there in Q3. Luca Farina as well, getting very, very close, but still a brilliant qualifying effort from Farina. He did very, very well in that Alfa Romeo, but unfortunately just couldn't make it into Q3. Now then, we are here for the third and final stage of qualifying. Q3, the top 10, the shootout for pole position begins now. And Alfred Klaus, eager to get out in his Red Bull. And he's gonna try and get up there on his outlap. Then the man who has been with Red Bull since the ACOC's inception in 2017. He's been loyal to that team ever since, and truly has become the face of their team as well, as he now rounds the final corner to start his lap of the track. Klaus, a solid pair of hands, loves to put on a show for the fans. He's taken a lot of memorable victories over the years. Obviously, with his prowess in pace and overtaking, he really has proven himself as one of the best drivers in the ACOC, and obviously so many of his race victories do come to mind. He's a driver that loves cutting through the field. Think back to Barcelona 2018, I believe it was. Had an absolutely crazy finish, and Klaus made a lot of calm and collected overtakes to storm his way through and take the race win. And then obviously this season as well, Barcelona 2021, winning from 14th on the grid, and climbing all the way up until P1 after Jesper Johansson received a time penalty. It was absolutely incredible to see. Probably one of the best drives we've ever witnessed in the ACOC. So yeah, Klaus certainly is going to be one for the history books, and he already has written himself in there. as he now sets the first lap time then with a 1:17.0. It's going to be the benchmark time for the rest of them to beat. Franco Gamba about 1.5 seconds slower than in the Alpine. And his Parachki goes faster then by about 0.03 of a second. What are the rest of the guys going to respond to that? Lewis McIntyre only about 0.4 off Parachki. Jesper Johansson, not the greatest of laps. I think he's been held up by Laban Zasnishkai there. So Johansson will not be too happy about that. And he's going to need to go for another lap. This is not ideal for Jesper Johansson, especially considering he is tied with Parachki in the championship. So he needs a good qualifying effort here to try and set a good lap. And obviously get ahead of Parachki in the championship. As he makes his way around the circuit, there's Kai Chereshny across the line, P5, and Fernando Tost ahead of Lewis McIntyre in third. Brilliant stuff from Tost. We still look at Jesper Johansson rounding the Zaxkurve through 13 and 14. He goes. Dennis Groff is up into third. What can Johansson do? Is he going to be able to improve on this lap, or is the dirty air going to affect him here? He goes across the line, and it's only 7th for Jesper Johansson, and this is not looking good for the Swede, as he now sits in 7th with his teammate Parachki on pole position at the moment with 3 minutes to go. And this makes his way out of the pit lane. There is Dennis Groff, currently in third. So he makes his way out of turn number 6 and down into turn 7. Groff as well, looking to continue Red Bull's good run of qualifying form this season to try and claim yet another pole for Red Bull. Obviously, Red Bull Racing, who have claimed 4 poles this season so far, have been the stronger team in qualifying, but Mercedes have been better in race pace at the moment, as they do lead 48, or they do lead the championship on 48 points from Red Bull Racing, as Groff does improve, but he stays in third for the time being. Jesper Johansson goes across the line, and now it is looking a tiny bit better for Johansson as he gets up into 4th and is right behind the 2 Red Bulls. But I know for Johansson, the 2-time world champion, it is definitely not enough for Jesper Johansson to only settle for 4th. He wants to get up there, he wants to be the best, and he wants to beat Enish Parachki. Here is Franco Gamba then in 9th, heading through turn 12. Gamba as well doing well for himself here then. In 9th at the moment. He's been struggling this season as well with pace and just results. And we'll see then if he is going to be able to improve on this lap as he goes across the line. He does improve, but unfortunately for Franco Gamba, he stays in 9th. Dennis Groff is next across the line. Is he going to be able to improve then as he goes across? Yes, he does, but he stays in 3rd. And Groff managing very minuscule improvements as Johansson comes in. Jesper Johansson is in, and that means it's not going to be the pole for Jesper Johansson. It's going to be 4th at best for the Swede here at Hockenheim, and that will bring a big smile to Enish Parachki's face, as it has put him ahead of the man who is equal with him in the championship. And now that Enish Parachki is going to need to get the best possible result. He's going to want that pole position to be able to get the biggest gap between him and Jesper Johansson in the race. Alfred Klaus, though, is going to want to claim another pole for Red Bull here as the checkered flag now falls. Klaus going to be the first man across the line, though he can't do it. He stays in second and does not improve. Kai Chereznia comes in, but his teammate Fernando Tost, adamant to try and improve from sixth, goes across the line, does not improve. What about Josef Fredrik Schuto? He does improve, and he goes up into P6. Then it's looking a bit more like it for the man in the McLaren. Next up, Dennis Graf will need an improvement here as he goes across the line, does not improve. What about Lewis McIntyre from 8th? He goes second and gets himself onto the front row. Great lap from Lewis McIntyre, and the Brit here at the Hockenheimring goes on to P2 for McLaren. Great stuff from Lewis McIntyre. He will be second, and it is gonna be this man who is gonna claim P1 here at the Hockenheimring, as he's going to be the final man across the line. Enis Parachki will be on pole position here for the German Grand Prix. And qualifying comes to a close then. That is qualifying over with. Enis Parachki is your pole sitter, and surprisingly, it is only Parachki's second pole of the season. This is his second time he has qualified P1 in all of these 7 races. He took pole for the opening round in Bahrain, and 7 races later he gets another one. And he's got Lewis McIntyre as well on the front row there, so we'll see what McIntyre is going to be able to do then there in second, and then the 2 Rebels in third and fourth, and Jesper Johansson in a lowly 5th. Will not be very happy about his qualifying efforts today. So we'll see what Johansson will be able to do in the race. Aston Martin then a pretty decent qualifying for them as well. P8 and P10. I don't think they'll be complaining for that. So yeah, good stuff for Tost and Chereznia. Got Laban Zasnishka in 6th for Ferrari as well. We know he likes to go up positions on the race, so we'll see what he's going to be able to do today. Josef Fredrik Schuto then in 7th, and then you have Fernando Tost there as well, and then Franco Gamba in 9th, starting in the top 10, I believe. I don't remember the last time he was in Q3, so yeah, he has done well for himself as well to get himself into the top 10, and he could be on for a pretty good result in the race as well. But enough about that. We're now here and ready for the race, and before we get underway, it is time to go through the starting grid before lights out here at Hockenheim. Taking his second pole of the season, Enis Parachki lines up P1, and accompanying him on the front row after a brilliant lap in qualifying, Lewis McIntyre starts second place. Second row is an all Red Bull second row. Alfred Klaus starts third with Dennis Graf in P4. Jesper Johansson will be 5th with Laban Zasnishka in P6. Josef Fredrik Schuto is 7th with Fernando Tost in 8th. Then it's Franco Gamba in P9 with Kai Chereznia rounding out the top 10. Luca Farina getting very, very close to Q3. Still a very good effort from him as he starts in P11. Then it's Will Parrish in 12th with Wojtek Kulasek in 13th. Alex Broster starts in 14th with Alexander Arnold in 15th. Eric Adelberg will be in P16 with Thomas Mandic a lowly 17th. We'll see what he is going to be able to do today then, as Daniel Wale will be P18, and rounding off the grid is Victor Albom and Daniel Fraser. Right then, the grid is set. We're ready to go green for 38 laps here at the Hockenheimring. Parachki on pole as the lights are coming on. And we're underway here at the Hockenheimring. Good getaway for Parachki, not as much for McIntyre, and it's gonna be Alfred Klaus. I think that is immediately alongside the Brit for second place as Parachki leads off the line as we head down to turn number 2. Johansson fighting one of the Red Bulls there. That is Dennis Groff, who he's scrapping away with as we head through turn 3 and then down into turn number 4. Groff on the outside line though defends from Jesper Johansson, who's gonna have to stay in P5, and it might just be swallowed up by the cars behind of Labas Asnishka and Josef Fredrik Schuto. Either way, Klaus is going to go down the inside of Lewis McIntyre, then into the hairpin, forces him wide a bit as the two go wheel to wheel, as I think there's been a bit of an accident there at the hairpin, but Klaus and McIntyre side by side then as we head down into the braking zone of turn number 8. Klaus on the outside line, can he get it down through the chicane? Yes he can, and it's going to be Alfred Klaus fighting his way up in the second as Franco Gamba tries to get Josef Fredrik Schuto. Luca Farina has had an incredible start then as he is in P9 at the moment, tried to go into his fellow compatriot Franco Gamba there, but couldn't quite find the opportunity to get past there, as Kai Chereshny has not had the greatest of starts either. He's dropped down to 13th, so not the best of stuff from Chereshny at the moment, but no DNFs then on lap 1 as we make our way to lap 2. Parashki leads by 0.6 of a second from Alfred Klaus. So good stuff there from him as Will Parrish is now going to try to go to the inside of Wojtek Kulasek. Into turn 2 we go. Parrish on the inside line. Kulasek defends the long way round though and isn't able to do anything just yet. No DRS on lap 2. Obviously he's just going to have to rely on the good old slipstream and the run. He's got out of turn number 3 to go side by side with the Czech man. He's got the overspeed. He's late on the brakes into turn number 6. Is he going to be able to muscle his way past the Czech driver as we head out of turn 6 and down the straight we go? And Will Parrish is going to be able to get himself up into P11. Not quite. Kulasek still hangs it on there as we head through Mercedes, through the chicane. Kulasek is on the inside line, should have the better traction, but Parrish is still able to keep it wheel to wheel as we head into Mobile 1, as they are side by side. Great racing here between the two, but ultimately Will Parrish pulls the move off with style and gets himself up into P11. Great stuff from the young American, and he will be up into 11th. Great opening battles then. We've got the first 2 laps under our belt. Enis Parashki now is the fastest lap of the race, trying to pull away from the rest of the field. So he is doing very well for himself right now as we're looking at Dennis Groff. He's going to want to make it a double Red Bull podium at the moment. He's chasing down the McLaren of Lewis McIntyre. And he's going to try to get himself up into P3. At the moment, though, through the braking zone, he isn't able to do anything. So we're now looking at Alex Broster. Could try a move on Kai Chereshny here, but isn't able to do anything there. We had a bit of a scuffle on lap 1 at the hairpin, a bit further back. So, yeah, let's check this out. And it was just... what was it? Not sure what it was. I think was that Fernando Tost. Look, it was one of the Aston Martins. This is Fernando Tost, and just stomps on the brakes. I don't know why he did that, but yeah, a lot of people went down in position. We'll see on board with Fernando Tost then. Lined up the move on Franco Gamba. Was late on the brakes, and I don't know what that was exactly. He braked more than he needed for that corner. Don't know if that was something on the car or if he locked up or whatever, but either way, it just seems a bit odd. Here's Tomas Mandic though, trying to go to the inside line of Daniel Wale, but that was quite a sloppy move from Mandic, and he remains in 19th position. Now then, going up a few positions, we're looking at the Alpha Tauri of Will Parrish, chasing down Fernando Tost for 10th. He's going to try to drop Aston Martin out of the points here at Hockenheim, but he is obviously stuck in that DRS train. So at the moment, I don't think he is going to be able to go anywhere. So he's just going to have to bide his time behind Wojtek Kulasek and just be as patient as possible. So now looking at Gamba with the DRS. Is he going to be able to get Josef Fredrik Schuto? He switches to the inside line. Down the inside he goes. Late braking maneuver from Franco Gamba. It's Alpine versus McLaren here at Hockenheim as we head down into turn number 7. Schuto gets the better exit out of turn 6, which gets him momentarily ahead. Heading into turn number 8 though, Gamba's able to swing it on the outside line and puts a wheel ahead, but they're wheel to wheel through the chicane and into turn number 10. Franco Gamba gets it done, but it's not quite over yet, as Schuto had a look on the inside line through turn number 11. But it's going to be Franco Gamba up into P7. Take a bow, Franco Gamba. That's great stuff from the man in the Alpine. And he is through into 7th. On to lap 5. And now Jesper Johansson sets the fastest lap of the race. And this could be very, very interesting indeed, as you see Alfred Klaus is struggling quite a lot to catch up to Enes Parachki, and Johansson is at the back of this train. But it is, I guess, a bit of a bittersweet feeling for Jesper Johansson to be the fastest man on track, but also be at the opposite end of a DRS train. So we're now looking at Eric Adelberg. He's going to try to get Alex Broster here for P14. He's going to go around the outside with the DRS, and he sails past the Brit and the Williams to easily make his way up into P14. Good stuff there from him then, as we're seeing Tomas Mandic, who did actually get past Daniel Walle, is now going to try and get past Daniel Fraser in the Haas, as he's going to go around the outside line. And this should be an easy move for Tomas Mandic. Yes, it is. And he will be up into P17, so at least he's making overtakes. But again, this is not where he should be, really. Franco Gamba then currently in 7th, chasing down Laban Sasnishkai. Gamba is looking very good on pace today. This could finally be the end to that poor form that he's had this season. Either way, though, he's looking very, very good on the pace right now. Here is Luca Farina. He's going to try to pick off Josef Fredrik Schuto as well. The Schuto not looking too good on the pace at the moment. The Farina certainly is enjoying himself right now, as he is going to try to go to the inside line, but I don't think he's close enough, and he's going to have to stay behind as a result. Either way, Luca Farina doing very, very well for himself. As there's Daniel Fraser, and he's actually re-overtaken Tomas Mandic. Let's see how he did this. And you thought that the move would be done and dusted on Mandic, and you can see Mandic. Oh yeah, and Mandic made a mistake. He tried to go on to Alexander Arnold and jumps over the curb, almost spins out, almost makes contact with Daniel Fraser there. And Fraser just swoops past and takes back his 17th position. Sloppy from Tomas Mandic. It's not looking good for him. As here we go. This is Alfred Klaus, who has caught up to the back of Enes Parachki. We could have a lead battle here on our hands, as Klaus is closing in on Enes Parachki. And he's got the DRS as well to give him a bit of a helping hand. Will he be able to try something into turn number 6? He's going to go to the inside line here then for the race lead. Alfred Klaus on the inside. Through turn number 6 they will go, and they're going to be side by side heading down into turn number 7. Klaus on the inside line for Red Bull, but ultimately it comes to nothing for Alfred Klaus. Enes Parachki is just able to hold him off, as there's Thomas Mandic re-overtaking Daniel Fraser for 17th. And yeah, at least he is able to get past Daniel Fraser. As we look up 15 positions to Alfred Klaus in second. He's got the DRS, looking to chase down Enis Parashki here. Oh, I think he locked up slightly there though. It looked like to me that he ran a bit wide, and that did cost him a few tenths. On Enis Parashki, gaps up to 7/10 of a second. Is Lewis McIntyre going to be able to do something here, I reckon? Or I wonder, maybe, is the correct choice of words. But yeah, we've had our thoughts answered. So here's Luca Farina all over the back of Josef Federic Schuto, as that is Fernando Toss in the background running a bit wide. And Farina, who's looked strong on the pace though, is just not able to get past Fernando Toss, and whether that's down to the difference in machinery or just the overall defensive skill of Josef Federic Schuto, I'll leave that up to the viewers to decide in their own minds. Either way then, what can't be ignored is that Luca Farina is having a pretty good day, currently in 9th and looking to score points once again. Heading through turn 12 and then, no, sorry, what am I saying? Turn 5? Sorry, I'm getting myself completely confused. But yeah, through turn 5 we're going to go. Farina's going to have another shot at trying it now. Is he going to get close enough? Gets painfully close, but just not within striking distance of Josef Federic Schuto, as we now look to his teammate Daniel Wale, who's in a bit of a Haas sandwich at the moment, trying to get Daniel Fraser, as there in the background Victor Album running very, very wide. Going a bit further up the field then Alfred Klaus, who looked to be very much on the pace, seems to have dropped back a bit on Enis Parashki. Gap is about 7 or 8/10 of a second. So yeah, Klaus is struggling a bit to keep up with Enis Parashki, and this is good news for Enis, obviously, considering he's going to be able to keep a consistent gap over him. Klaus, though, is just going to have to worry about dropping out of the 1 second range, because then he's going to have to start worrying more about defense rather than offense, considering Lewis McIntyre behind is closing in quite substantially and could try and get a bit of revenge and get back up into second. So there's quite a lot of DRS trains going on at the moment. Here's Daniel Wale to the inside line of Daniel Fraser. So the two Daniels going wheel to wheel then. And Wale's going to be on the inside line then of Fraser as the two go wheel to wheel. Heading into turn number 8. Fraser shuts the door and is able to stay ahead of Daniel Wale for the time being. Here is Jesper Johansson then currently in 5th. Maybe would be a bit frustrated about the lack of progress he is making at the moment, but yeah, it's just been staying behind and staying patient behind the Red Bull of Dennis Groff, I do suppose, waiting for his time to strike. as Daniel Waller now is going to go to the inside line of Daniel Fraser. The two are going to go side by side once again for P18 here as they make their way out of the hairpin, wheel to wheel, into turn number 7. It's going to be Waller on the inside once again. Will he be able to pull off it this time? He's closer, and he's going to go side by side using all the track available to him as he rounds turn number 8, and through 9 and 10 they go, and Waller is fully ahead this time, and the Alfa Romeo driver makes his way up into 18th. Good stuff from Waller, but he's got a 5-second gap to Thomas Mandic up ahead. Klaus then in second is going to try to go on to Parachki. He's there on the inside line, and they make contact. They make contact. I think Parachki's out. He is out. Klaus and Parachki, the top two, come together, and as a result, Parachki is out, and he will score 0 points. This is the perfect advantage for Jesper Johansson, but it is absolute disaster for Enis Parachki. He will come home empty-handed by no fault of his own, and Alfred Klaus controversially takes the lead of the German Grand Prix. And immediately the stewards quick to respond. Alfred Klaus with a 10-second time penalty for contact with Enis Parachki. Just spun him around there. Nothing Enis could have done. And yeah, I agree with that. It's 100% on Klaus. And now then, that puts Lewis McIntyre into the lead of the race with Dennis Groff and Jesper Johansson rounding out the podium. And now this race has just gotten a lot more interesting as McIntyre is going to try to want this race lead on the track. He's going to go wheel to wheel with Alfred Klaus as the two are going to go side by side. Then McIntyre on the inside line. Is he going to be able to make it stick on the track as we head into turn number 8? He's going to swing it round the outside line as he is going to try and make it stick on the inside through turn number 10. Then Klaus gets the better exit to try and hang on to the position as they go wheel to wheel, but Klaus ultimately is able to hold ahead. And Alfred Klaus strong on the defense, but it's not going to matter. All he has to focus on, if he does actually want a good result today, is to try and pull away. But at the moment, he is not doing that. And this really has made things a lot more exciting. So we're now looking at Will Parrish on to Fernando Tost. Here is Will Parrish, then he's going to go down the inside line of Fernando Tost. His waiting is finally going to pay off then as the two are going to go wheel to wheel. It's going to be Parrish on the inside line of Fernando Tost as the two go wheel to wheel, but ultimately Tost on the defense is able to hold off Will Parrish. As we're now looking at Luca Farina, now going to fight Josef Frederick Schuto for 7th. As he is still on the back of of Schulte and has been for these past few laps as well. So Farina patiently waiting for his time to shine. There in the background, though, I think that is Will Parrish onto Fernando Tost once again. Yes, it is. The two side by side once again. Really great battle we've been treated to between these two so far, as it's going to be Parrish on the inside line once again. Heading into turn 8. Parrish on the outside line, then gets the better exit, going the long way round through the chicane we go. Parrish just about inches ahead on the inside line there, but Tost on the outside uses all the track available to him to muscle his way past, as Parrish into Zaks, super late on the brakes there on the outside, but he runs wide through the chicane. There's still wheel to wheel, incredible fighting between the two, but they make contact, and as a result Fernando Tost will get himself up into P9 once again. Really great battle. There's Kulasek under pressure from Kai Chereshnia. Chereshnia on the inside line is going to try to get himself up one position at least in this race as we head over to turn 2. Chereshnia on the inside. They're trying to go wheel to wheel. Chereshnia trying to make it stick, but at the moment he isn't able to do anything. I think he's going to have to stay behind in P12, but obviously doesn't want to do that, and he's going to try to make a change for it as well as he goes down the inside on Wojta Kulasek as the two go wheel to wheel, and he actually gets past. He's done it into P6 or into turn 6. He's up to P11, but Kulasek is still going to try to put up a bit of resistance as Chereshnia jumps over the curb, and as a result, Wojta Kulasek gets his P11 back. Great battle between the two, and now Chereshnia is facing a bit of pressure from Eric Adelberg there in 13th, so he could try and do something there as well. There is Luca Farina. Still on the back of Josef Frederick Schuto here. And I think as it stands at the moment, as there is Dennis Graf trying to go to the inside of Lewis McIntyre, and this is for the lead of the race here, as it's going to be Graf or McIntyre could take the lead of the race as they make contact. Big contact as they bang wheels, but somehow it doesn't end in disaster. Graf going round the outside line on the inside now as we exit, and that's going to be Graf ahead, and controversially once again we have another lead change. And how on earth did we not have a major accident there? I have absolutely no idea, as Johansson runs a bit wide. How did that just happen? We need to see that again. I am absolutely in shock. And this was Dennis Graf then. It was into, I believe, Mobile 1, which they made contact. And Graf on the inside line here didn't get the best of exits. And it allowed McIntyre to keep it wheel to wheel. And that's what it was. He went up, I think, did McIntyre leave him enough room? I don't think he did. I'm going to be honest. I don't think Lewis left him enough space there. And I think that actually was on McIntyre. So, yeah, I'd say that is maybe just more of a racing incident. But if anything, I think it is Lewis McIntyre's fault there. Either way, that is going to be Dennis Graf up into the provisional race lead. And that sees Lewis McIntyre shuffle down to second. And then Jesper Johansson in third, who is already on the back of Lewis McIntyre. Johansson closing in on McIntyre. Here's Parrish on to Tost once again, and here's the two Williams cars fighting each other then. Alexander Arnold versus Alex Broster, as the two are gonna go wheel to wheel. Arnold on the inside line as we're going to head through turn number 11 into turn 11. Sorry, I'm confusing my corners again. Into turn number, this is turn number 10 we're going to go into now, as Arnold is there on the inside and is able to get himself ahead of Alex Broster. So Broster isn't able to pull the move off on his teammate. So we're now looking at Jesper Johansson. 3/10 between him and Lewis McIntyre, and an overtake looks almost imminent for the Swede here to try and get himself up into second place, as he is gonna have the DRS. And Johansson now on the podium. This is his perfect time to strike. Graf is gonna hope his teammate Alfred Klaus lets him go without any issue, considering he's got a time penalty. But it looks like Alfred Klaus maybe doesn't want to do that, as Johansson and McIntyre in the background fighting for second. And Dennis Graf, as we head into turn number 11, isn't able to get past. But Jesper Johansson is gonna muscle his way past Lewis McIntyre, and up into second goes the Super Swede. And now then, this will get very, very interesting indeed. Jesper Johansson could now be in contention for the race win here. And Dennis Graf then is just going to have to hope Alfred Klaus will be able to move over the way easily. I think Dennis is probably not feeling very happy about this at the moment, as he is chasing down Alfred Klaus. He's going to have the DRS. He's going to try to go onto them once again. Jesper Johansson is within DRS range of these two now, so things could get dire for Red Bull here, as this is really not what they want their two drivers to be doing, especially when one has a time penalty. Klaus, though, on the outside line, once again, is holding off Dennis Graf, and this is not what Red Bull need to be doing. I think there is a bit of miscommunication in Red Bull. Here is Will Parrish, who's going to try to go around the outside line and Luca Farina, and through turn 10 and 11 they go. They pull it off. Good stuff from Will Parrish then. That gets the AlphaTauri up into 8th. Jesper Johansson now sets the fastest lap of the race, and he is really pushing to try and get these two. Dennis Graf still has to get Alfred Klaus here, and then he's gonna have a car between him and Jesper Johansson, and that will be the ideal thing for Dennis Graf. But Alfred Klaus does not want to play the team game here, it looks like, as Dennis Graf is going to go to the inside line once again. I think that's Lewis McIntyre and Laban Zasnishkai fighting for second place. Or not second place, third place that is. Graf is there on the inside. Still isn't able to get past though, as here is McIntyre and Zasnishkai then. Laban Zasnishkai in the Ferrari is going to try to continue his podium streak here and try and get himself up to P3. And he does so. Great stuff from Laban Zasnishkai, as we look at his teammate Tomas Mandic, now up to 13th, getting past Kai Chereshnia. Two Williams cars also fighting each other. Broster then on the inside is going to try to get his way past Arnold once again. Alexander Arnold on the outside line though is able to hold him off, and as a result it is Alexander Arnold in P15. Dennis Graf getting very close to the back of his teammate, and he must be absolutely furious with Alfred Klaus at the moment, considering he's got a time penalty. It's not benefiting any of the two. Graf is going to go to the inside line once again. He's going to try to go wheel to wheel and try and get past his teammate. But desperation is creeping in for Dennis Graf. He just has to get past Alfred Klaus at the moment. Here's Fernando Tosten. He's going to try and be another man to get past Luca Farina. And Farina, I don't know what's happening with him, but it seems that he is struggling a bit on the pace. Wasn't able to get Josef Fredrik Schutov. Parrish got past. And now Fernando Tost gets past as well. The two are going to go wheel to wheel. And as a result, Fernando Tost will be the victor in that battle as Kulasek tries to go to the inside line, tries to be the next man to get past Luca Farina, try and potentially drop him out of the points, but it doesn't come to anything just yet. As here goes Dennis Graf into turn number 2 then, as he is going to try the inside line, but it doesn't work at all, and now this has brought Jesper Johansson so much closer to these guys. Dennis Graf is going to go to the inside line of his teammate with the DRS. Finally, this should be his moment, and it is, as he is going to get past. Jesper Johansson is going to follow Dennis Graf through on the inside line there. He doesn't get the best of exit, I don't think, and as a result, Jesper Johansson is going to stay in third. And Alfred Klaus now shuffles down at the second on the road. And this is good for Dennis Graf now, because now he has got a car between himself and Jesper Johansson. So the advantage suddenly shifts to Dennis Graf. Klaus rounds the final corner then. He's got the DRS on his teammate. And he is closing in then. Jesper Johansson, I think, will be a bit frustrated with this. But he's just going to have to hope to get past Alfred Klaus as soon as possible. Out of turn 4 they go. DRS now engaged for Jesper Johansson. But obviously he doesn't have the overspeed on Klaus, considering he's got the DRS on Dennis Graf. So Jesper Johansson once again is stuck in the DRS train here. Here is Luca Farina then. We're talking about how he was coming under pressure from Wojtek Kulasek, and he was overtaken by Fernando Tost on that previous lap, but now he actually seems to be putting the pressure back onto Fernando Tost and could try and get himself back up into P9 here. And we'll see if he is going to be able to do just exactly that, but only time will tell, as we have 14 laps left here at the German Grand Prix. Enes Parachki, who was leading every lap, was taken out by Alfred Klaus, and as a result has earned a 10-second time penalty, which puts Jesper Johansson into second, and then Laban Zasnishka in the Ferrari into third. Here is Erik Adelberg then, fighting Wojtek Kulasek for P11, as he's going to go to the inside. The two are going to go wheel to wheel. It's going to be the Alpine on the inside. And at the moment, Kulasek will not be able to get this position. Erik Adelberg goes up into 11th. Thomas Mandic in 13th, trying to get involved into this battle then, as he is now behind Wojtek Kulasek as well. About 0.3 of a gap separating the two, so he could definitely try something there. Jesper Johansson still trying to close in on Alfred Klaus. He is just hoping that Klaus drops out of that 1 second range, so he's able to punch his way past with the DRS. Going a bit further down the field then Mandic. Is he going to be able to get past Wojtek Kulasek? So he's going to go to the inside line, and with the DRS he sails past Wojtek Kulasek and gets himself up into P12. Here is Luca Farina then, still chasing down Fernando Tost. And Farina is just gonna try to get past him as soon as possible. As we make our way around the two final corners, 4/10 is the gap that separates the two, and Tost is outside of that 1 second range, so Farina could definitely be able to strike here. I think now is going to be the chance for Luca Farina to do something here. So we head down into turn number 2, just awaiting the DRS zone through turn 5. As we now make our way into the DRS zone, the rear wing goes up for Luca Farina. Is he gonna be able to get close enough to try a move here? No! Luca Farina will just have to stay in 10th for the time being. Same with Kai Cherezhnia onto Wojtek Kulasek. Isn't able to do anything just yet. Klaus then seems to have caught up to the back of Dennis Graf. It looks like this penalty isn't letting Klaus, what's the word? This penalty isn't slowing down Klaus in his mind, really. So he is just continuing to push on. And if Klaus starts to pester Dennis Graf a bit more, that's good news for Jesper Johansson behind, because that means he'll be able to take advantage of the turbulent situation. So we head down into turn number 6. Klaus on the inside. Johansson runs wide. That's not good news for Jesper Johansson. But Klaus is still trying to close in on Dennis Graf. Lamos Zasniczka is going to try to close in on Jesper Johansson. Cherezhnia is going to try the move on Wojtek Kulasek here, as the two will be side by side now. Heading out of turn number 6 and into turn 7. Cherezhnia on the inside will try and make the move stick, but he's not close enough to continue the battle into Mercedes corner, and he will stay behind for the time being. Alfred Klaus now making his way around the two final corners. DRS here on the start-finish straight will be able to pull himself a bit closer to Dennis Graf. And Graf is not too happy, I'm sure, about it, of what Alfred Klaus is doing at the moment. Look how close Jesper Johansson is as well on to Alfred Klaus. Johansson really just biding his time behind the two Red Bulls at the moment. And if he is able to get past, this could be something. This could be a very, very big controversy, and Klaus is going to try to re-overtake his teammate Dennis Graf here. He's going to go to the inside line. This is not doing Alfred Klaus nor Dennis Graf any wonders at all, but Klaus is still trying it on his teammate Dennis Graf, and he isn't able to succeed with the move, though, luckily for Graf, but Dennis will not be happy at all about that. Here's Kai Cherezhnia trying it on Wojtek Kulasek. Still tries to have a look on the outside line, but isn't able to get past. And here's a replay Here's Thomas Mandic. And what happened to Thomas Mandic? That was Eric Adelberg, spins round, is able to catch it though, and as a result, Mandic got himself up into 11th. Could Thomas Mandic get himself into the points here today? It could very well be from P17. At the moment, he's claimed 6 positions and gone up into P11. So it could be at least a tiny bit of redemption for Mandic. It's Johansson all over the back of Alfred Klaus at the moment. So close between the two. But unfortunately for Johansson, Klaus has DRS and is able to remain ahead as a result. Here is the battle for the last step of the podium, then once again being reignited. Lewis McIntyre and Lamas Zasnishka side by side. As Zasnishka on the outside line gets the better exit compared to Lewis McIntyre. They are going to go wheel to wheel as Franco Gamba there in the background lurks to try maybe get himself a little podium here. But Lamas Zasnishka will hold his third place ahead of McIntyre. Good stuff from Lamas Zasnishka, looking absolutely strong here today. McIntyre now still on the back of Zasnishka. Could try and get past once again, but Laban, as we know, strong defender, won't let that position go as easily. But McIntyre looks good on the pace. Zasnishka struggling to meet the same tempo of the top 3. It's just been kind of dropping off and remaining in fourth on track. So yeah, he is just staying where he is, and he's going to have to hold him off as best as he can. And he's going to have to do it once again as Lewis McIntyre is now on the inside line of Laban Zasnishka. But I think once again his efforts are going to come to nothing as Zasnishka is going to get himself ahead, and he does so. And there we go. It is going to be Zasnishka remaining in third at the moment. Great battle we're having here for the podium. And Laban remains where he is. McIntyre still trying to close in then. Franco Gamba getting himself involved into this now. So McIntyre is going to have to start being careful. If he maybe slips up to a mistake here, Franco Gamba could try and take advantage of it. Here is Lewis McIntyre, then it's going to go to the inside line of Laban Zasnishka. Once again, McIntyre piles on the pressure onto Laban Zasnishka as they go wheel to wheel with Laban Zasnishka. Cold as ice, as we know. No amount of pressure is going to ever get to him as he remains in third then. Here is Alexander Arnold. It's going to go side by side with Wojtek Kulasek for P14 then. As Arnold's there on the inside line, but isn't close enough to go up and alongside through turn number 8. And as a result, it is gonna be Alexander Arnold in P15. And joining us for these last few laps of the Grand Prix is Giuseppe. Good afternoon to you.
Yeah, good afternoon, Miran. Sorry for the sudden join, but I just saw you guys and I thought, why not just watch the race for the last couple of laps. So I guess also for new viewers, you can just recap for us what's going on, unless there's a big battle going on.
Yeah, I will. I'll be able to recap it for Giuseppe and all of those viewers just tuning in. Enis Parachki started the race on pole. McIntyre was in second. I'm going to interrupt myself here as Jesper Johansson is going to sail his way past Alfred Klaus into turn number 5, as the two will be side by side. There in the background, Zasniczka and McIntyre fighting it out as well. As Johansson is on the inside line, wheel to wheel. They're going to go through turn number 8. Johansson on the outside line is going to want this P2 here on the road, as they're still wheel to wheel. Klaus putting up a lot of resistance there as Johansson's now on the inside line, but he's going to have the outside line through Zax, late on the brakes through Jesper Johansson, and I think that is going to be the move done. Great stuff from Jesper Johansson. But yes, to recap, Parachki started on pole, McIntyre was in second, then Klaus went up at the second, and then a few laps ago, Klaus went into the back of Enis Parachki, spun him out of the race, and as a result, Klaus had a 10-second time penalty. So Klaus is not third. He's provisionally, I don't know what position he is provisionally, but he's not third at least. So that's going to bring Zasniczka up into the podium. And Klaus was in the lead of the race, and he got overtaken by Dennis Groff, and now he's getting overtaken by Jesper Johansson. And now there's 4 laps to go. Johansson is in second. He's about a second off Dennis Groff. And then the question will be if Johansson is going to be able to duel with Dennis Groff for the race lead.
Yeah, it seems like the top 4, even top 5, everyone seems to be very close together, so nobody's to be coming out. But of course, Johansson now is overtaking Klaus, so that's one out of his way. And next up is Graf. So right now he seems to be 1 second in. The best he can do now is get just about under the 1 second to get into the DRS range, and then you can start thinking about going for an overtake.
Yeah, Johansson now just has to focus on knocking those laps in as best as possible, and immediately actually is in the DRS zone. But as one man said, getting close is one thing, passing is another. So Johansson has maybe done 50% of it, but he's going to have to focus on the other 50% in these last 3 laps. And yeah, time is certainly running out for Jesper Johansson here at Hockenheim.
Yeah, as he's gotten closer, and of course he's distanced Klaus. I mean, Klaus was just one to be overtaken so that he can chase after Graf, because he would have finished P2 nonetheless due to Klaus's penalty. But if he stay, I'm pretty sure you know with Johansson, he won't be happy with that. And now he's already closing in about half a second from Dennis Graf, who I don't know how long he's been in the race lead, but I assume he's been there for a while. So actually, we had a similar situation some races ago where I think the two battled it out. So no, sorry, that was Parachki, but I guess it's not Graf's first experience battling with the lead with a Mercedes car. So now soon enough, you might have to do it again. But maybe he knows a trick or two to having battled one of the Mercedes already. That one Mercedes sadly being out of the race. So Johansson will get a lot of points on Parachki, to be honest. So not the best weekend for the Macedonian, but the season's still long. But what Johansson can do to inflict even more, just inflict a bit more salt in the wound, is just to even get this race win and get even more points on his Mercedes teammate.
Yeah, and Johansson will be hoping for that, considering both him and Parachki were tied on points heading into this round. Enis Parachki, this is probably the worst possible result for him if Johansson will take the lead here. So Enis will be desperately hoping that Graf is going to be able to keep Jesper at bay here, but considering the pace he has, I don't know if he's going to be able to do that. He's going to have the DRS now to his aid, and he's going to go down turn number 5. He's closing in, and will he be able to try a move this early on Dennis Graf? Yes, he does. He's going to go to the inside line. Now then, for the race lead, Johansson and Graf, the 2 world champions, once again fighting wheel to wheel for the race lead. As Johansson's there on the inside line through turn number 8, they will go. Graf tries to hold the inside line as they go wheel to wheel out of turn number 8. Super close between the two, but through turn 9, Johansson takes the lead of the German Grand Prix. From P5 on the grid, he goes up into P1, and now with 2 laps to go, leads the German Grand Prix. As here's Thomas Mandic now getting up into P10 from P17 on the grid. He gets past Luca Farina, who now drops out of the points. But yeah, great stuff from Jesper Johansson, and this is the best possible result then for the Swede.
Yeah, indeed, Graf surely not happy with that, as he would like to get a win himself, but he's still close. It is up 37 or 38, so there's still some chances, but not many left. I mean, we do know that Hockenheim loves to show us some overtakes, but I'm not sure if Graf can take it back soon enough. He is there close, and maybe actually might try it now if he gets close enough. As we head down the straight, then into the sharp hairpin, as actually Graf goes for the move. He's not happy with Peter. He's gonna try and take P1 from Johansson. It's very close. They come out of the hairpin. Now it's, side by side like they usually are. Graf seems to have dropped back a little. He's not exactly side by side, so Johansson for now stays in front. But that was very dangerous for Johansson there in the lead.
Yeah, it was a late lunge from Dennis Groff as well. I wasn't really expecting it, but it seems that Jesper Johansson was, and he coped with it brilliantly. But yeah, Dennis Groff proving that it wasn't a one-time thing, and he is still ready to hunt that race lead back from Jesper Johansson, as Alex Broster now fights his teammate Arnold for 15th here. Obviously Groff as well has got the support of the home crowd here, so they'll be cheering him on for the race win. But Jesper Johansson looking to grab his 3rd race win of the season here.
Yeah, he's on the good way of doing it now. Final lap, so there's not much time left now. One of the best chances he will get. Oh, I think he actually went a bit wide there, Graf, so he's lost a bit of time now. That might actually cost him, as now he does have DRS, but he's way far off. I think he started and he went a bit wide.
Yeah, he did. I think he did make a mistake there, as we're now looking at the battle for the last step of the podium. Lewis McIntyre, who's been piling on the pressure on Laban Zasnishka, is going to do it once again as he goes to the inside line of Laban Zasnishka. The two are going to go wheel to wheel. Zasnishka, though, gets the better exit, and heading into turn number 7, he's on the outside line and holds off McIntyre beautifully. Zasnishka, solid as a rock today, I have to say. He has been absolutely brilliant on defense. And yeah, as 38 hectic laps will finally come to an end from P5 on the grid, he has coped brilliantly today to take a very, very good race for himself and the championship lead. Jesper Johansson wins the German Grand Prix. Alfred Klaus will be not on the podium. Dennis Groff comes on 2nd, and Laban Zasnishka for his 4th podium in a row for Ferrari. He has done brilliantly to come home with yet another podium, and Thomas Mandic will come home with 1 point then, as yeah, we're just waiting for the final couple of guys across the line, but Dennis Groff denied of a home race victory then, which is a bit of a shame. But Johansson takes his 3rd win of the season, so very, very well done from him then, as the results are as follows. These are the provisional results, so Alfred Klaus has a 10-second time penalty, which will mean he will drop out of the podium, but Jesper Johansson finishes 1st, and then Groff is 2nd with Klaus in 3rd. Zasnishka is 4th, but he will be on the podium here today with Lewis McIntyre in 5th. Franco Gamba is 6th with Josef Frederik Schuto in 7th. Will Parrish is 8th with Fernando Tosta in 9th, and then Thomas Mandic rounds out the top 10. I'll let you speed through the rest.
Yeah, Farino just missed out on points. He's in 11th. Adelbeck is in 12th. Javesti in 13th. Kulosec is in 14th. The 2 Williamses of Brosser and Arnold are in 15th and 16th. Wale is in 17th, and the 2 Haas's are in 18th and 19th. And Parachki, unfortunate to the NF, he's in 20th.
Yeah, not a good day for Parachki, but a brilliant one for Jesper Johansson. And that has been it then for Formula 1. Thanks so much for watching. Next round is the Belgian Grand Prix at Spa-Francorchamps, which will be on sometime in the following week. So make sure to not miss that. But yeah, before we go, I think it's time to give our driver of the day, and I'm going to give it to Laban Zasnishka. I think it was an absolutely brilliant performance that he pulled out today. Super strong on the defense, kept calm, kept consistent, kept a good pace, and he did very, very well for himself to secure his 4th podium in a row. He is absolutely incredible at the moment in Formula 1. So yeah, he gets my driver of the day. And I know you weren't here for a lot of it, but yeah, if you want, you can maybe award a driver of the day as well.
But honestly, if you told me Johansson started fifth, I'd say he would be an honorable mention as well.
Yeah, Jesper Johansson did very, very well as well. But either way, that has been it then for the ACOC. Thank you so much for watching. I have been Miran.
And I've been Giuseppe.
Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the